All right. Hi. Well, welcome to One Industry United. I'm Sean Beavers. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes and or a minute or so, and just give people a chance to log in. I'm very nervous. If that helps anybody. um, and I've been tinkering around with this leading up to the moments that I'm gone live here, and kind of decided that a shorter version of this might be better. It's a big conversation, and thank you, Paul. And it's a big conversation. What I've realized is I think more beneficial than making this long-winded would be to kind of give a synopsis of what we're talking about here, what I'm talking about, and then also do subsequent videos that would delve into some of the more specific topics a little deeper. So please subscribe to the channel, because basically what I'm saying is there will be future videos on these topics. We are going to have an email address for you to bring additional comments and questions to. And hopefully that's going to be the start of facilitating a larger conversation. So with that, I'll kind of get into this. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm Sean Beavers. I am co-founder of the Full Service Workers Alliance of Seattle. We founded around labor laws pertaining to the restaurant industry that affected us negatively here in Seattle. And we sort of follow some national trends. And I'm just going to kind of read my notes here. What I'd like to do here is to have a conversation about a lot of the changes that are happening in the restaurant industry today. I do encourage people to participate with comments and questions here live, and then also, as I mentioned, we're going to have an email address for people to weigh in on in the future. The title that I put on this, Restaurant Industry is Under Attack, is sensational, and it's sensational on purpose. To draw you in primarily, but also it is under attack. Our industry is under attack. And today I'd like to talk about who's behind it, how they're doing this, and ultimately what we can do about it. So I mentioned the FSWA. We watch different trends across the country, and we notice differences and commonalities among these trends. Examples of them: higher minimum wages, removal of tip credits, scheduling laws, and other things. And we want to talk about today, like, who's behind this and why. With, again, kind of cutting to the chase, it's the Service Employees International Union, the SEIU. There's other front groups that they use that mimic grassroots movements, but predominantly all these are SEIU fronts, and those might be Restaurant Opportunity Center, Fight for 15, One Fair Wage. Here in Washington, we have Working Washington, Fair Work Center, etc. Why are they doing this? Well, in large part, to extract union dues from the workers in the restaurant industry. The restaurant industry is the second largest employer in the United States after the federal government. So you could imagine what there is to be taken from this industry in terms of the dues that could be extracted. The SEIU uses approximately 70% of the union dues that they take in on political campaign contributions. So they're buying political influence. What can we do about this? Well, if you look at the common thread, what the union narrative is trying to do is divide us ultimately. whether that be employer, employee, front of the house, back of the house, worker, guest. It's a very divisive conversation. And what I believe needs to happen is that we need to come together, and we need to have a national conversation. Looking at the national conversation, One Industry United, what I hope it becomes is a movement ultimately, and a movement that is a movement of unity. If you look at these trends, or a couple things we've seen where we've gotten wins. One place is Washington, D.C., the other one is Maine. And what happened in both D.C. and Maine, the workers and the employers stood up together. And when that happened, they won. DC's Initiative 77 was overturned by their city council. As well, Maine got their tip credit reinstated. Again, looking at the trends now, whether this is a $15 federal minimum wage, which was just recently proposed, secure scheduling, fair work week, removal of tip credit, or even things like a soda tax or a head tax, which are also SEIU initiatives, they're coming to a city and a state near you. And this is where we would benefit from coming together and having a bigger national conversation, which is what I'm hoping for this to become. So I'm inviting everyone to participate, to create this movement. This is a movement. It's not a group. I believe that everyone has a special skill set. This is about us. And so when I say us, I mean the industry. So please reach out. I'm asking for help. I believe that there's a lot of people out there that have skill sets that can contribute to this movement. One thing that I can think of, I'm kind of brainstorming, but a nonprofit. If we put together a 501c4, which is a political activism nonprofit, I know for a fact there are people that almost professionally sit on the boards of nonprofits, and we need to get those people talking to each other. Whether you're in Malibu or Scranton or New York City or St. Paul, Minnesota, let's get people facilitating a conversation around how we can push back. Another thing I thought was a really good idea, and again, I'm asking for ideas. One thing that comes to mind immediately is that we're in the food and beverage industry. Well, what brings people together more than food and beverage? Nothing, right? That's what it is. So I could see a One Industry United monthly meeting in every city in the country, and work it out amongst yourselves, who hosts that, how it gets paid for, whether it's just wholesale, we put the products out there, we take a small donation, get people together, do it on a Monday night. We've all got Monday night off, right? That would be a great place for us to facilitate ideas and spark conversation, talk about what we can do as a movement, as an industry, to kind of take back some of this power that we've really lost here. And this is happening. It's happening quickly, in my opinion. And I think that there's an urgency to this action. What are some of the ideas that I would hope to hear kicked around in these meetings? Well, we could talk about funding sources. That nonprofit probably is a good idea. I'm sure there's other ones. Political awareness and activism. Backing candidates that are going to stand with us. That are going to represent our industry and not special interest groups. I think this is all conversation that would be extremely beneficial, and I think it's necessary that we all come together. This is what it's going to take to save our industry. I got an email address for you. So the email address, this is pretty high tech here, by the way. So it's One Industry United, One Industry 2019 at gmail.com. One Industry 2019 at gmail.com. Please direct comments, questions, any ideas, any skill sets, friends, anything you got to this email address, and we will reach back out to you in terms of putting people in touch with one another and facilitating ideas. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel, as the plan is to create more videos that will go more in depth on a lot of these individual topics, because a lot of them are topics that I think you could go on and on for quite some time, but I think individually they're all interesting. Putting them together is a more difficult thing. But in general, please reach out. Please subscribe to the channel, because it'll notify you when new videos are posted. And then hopefully there will be opportunities to go live again and do question and answer sessions, things like that. And I'd really like to see a movement where people are getting together on a monthly basis in individual cities and having these conversations, just hosting small parties, on Monday nights or whatever it is. And using that opportunity and the power that we have from being in the hospitality industry to facilitate those conversations and get people together. Because at the end of the day, it's all of our problem. I mean, we're talking about diminished income potential for the front of the house. We're talking about losing money that could be spent to compensate talent and acquire talent in the back of the house. We're talking about higher menu prices for customers. And we're talking about basically the overall profitability of individual establishments within our industry. So this is really all of our problem and opportunity at the same time. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to do a little question and answer here. I know Paul Paz has chimed in representing Waiters World. Paul's down in Portland, Oregon, and he's a great advocate of ours. And we've worked with people in Washington, D.C. We've worked with council members in St. Paul, Minnesota. We have the New York Tip Credit page has 30,000 members. That's incredible. And so the groups are out there. The support is out there. The passion's out there. We need to find a way to bring it together. So however that happens, however we facilitate that conversation, I would love if people would share this video. I would hope people would invite people to subscribe to this page. I didn't expect a ton of people to be on here, first go around, but this video will be up for people to reference. And then, as I mentioned, I think we'll also be putting up other videos to kind of flesh out the conversation and hopefully go live again to facilitate and encourage that question and answer and interaction in the future. And if anybody has any ideas, once again, oneindustry2019@gmail.com. Please send any further questions, criticisms, comments. You don't like my jacket, let me know. So with that, I think I'm kind of coming to the end of what I wanted to say. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but I really, really do hope that we have a genuine conversation from coast to coast about the issues confronting our industry and how we can do something about it. I know within this industry, there are just millions upon millions of great individuals, powerful people, smart people, active people. And one thing that these special interest groups do not want is for us to be talking to each other. That's for sure. That's the one thing that will actually topple them, is if we start talking, if we start having an open dialogue. And I look around the country and I see a lot of great things. We see 250 workers showing up in DC to push back against ROC's Initiative 77. And we see 30,000 people on the New York Tip Credit page. We see great groups working across the country. We need them to start talking to each other. And that's what this is about. And that's what I'm hoping to get to now. So with that, again, if anyone wants to throw some comments or questions in the comment section. I'm happy. I'm happy to answer those. Um, Please share the video. Please ask your friends to subscribe to the channel, and please send comments and questions to oneindustry2019@gmail.com. I'm hoping I'm hoping this starts a larger conversation. And with that, I give it 20 or 30 seconds here. I'm probably going to sign off. But thank you very much for tuning in. It shows you care. And I'm hoping we're having a conversation with everybody coast to coast and getting people linked up, because that's my greater vision. I love this industry. I've been in it for over 30 years. It got me to where I am today. And I want to see this industry thrive and give that opportunity to other people for many, many years to come. If there's no other questions or comments, um, I want to say thank you, and thanks, Paul, for commenting and weighing in. Um, please share this. Please reach out to us at oneindustry2019@gmail.com. Please subscribe to the channel and ask your friends, invite them. And here's looking forward to having more of this conversation with you as we move into the new year. Thank you.